Einsteins East Africa brings you a digital science fair, STEM solutions for a better world, featuring 25 teams, 140 children, and 7 premier judges, the amazing Little Einsteins Explorer trainers, and a few surprises. August 3rd to August 7th on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Children innovating for climate resilience and responsiveness. Little Einsteins East Africa brings you a digital science fair, STEM solutions for a better world, featuring 25 teams, 140 children, and 7 premier judges, the amazing Little Einsteins responsiveness. Little Einsteins East Africa brings you a digital science fair, STEM solutions for a better world.
Kenya Climate Innovation Center is a center which is trying to help Kenya to become more resilient to climate change. That said, our job is really to help the private sector, especially small and medium enterprises, to look at climate change as an opportunity. We started operations in 2012, funded by the Danish government and the UK government through the World Bank, and with the sole aim of trying to resolve some of the challenges that entrepreneurs or businesses are facing from this part of the world.
We have 5 sets of interventions in KCIC. So our interventions are really basically based on the gaps that have been identified in the market. So some of those gaps that have been identified are lack of financing. We have a challenge in terms of awareness creation. The other one is lack of incubation facilities in this country. So KCIC's mandate really has been to address those 3 challenges through 5 areas.
And that is how we have mapped our services. It includes things like business advisory. We also provide them with information, which is very critical for them to be able to put this together. The third thing that we do provide is that enabling environment.
Dash Polymer is a firm that works at converting waste plastic into industrial fuel. We started working with KCIC in June 2019, and they've helped us through trainings, especially in human resource and marketing. They've also helped us just to understand the business, and also they have helped us to improve our website.
Tulisikia aloe secondary flora ndio iko nyingi Laikipia. Tuliamua kupanda shamba ili tupande hiyo mmea ya aloe. Laikipia permaculture ni wafadhili wetu ambao wanatusaidia.
Permaculture is a sustainable human settlements program that looks into people system, animal system, the environment, our buildings, and how we coexist in this region. So it's actually a demonstration center to train people on all these things on climate change.
So we work with these Maasai women groups of 311. The main resource that we have in Laikipia is aloe secondary flora. So we've worked with these women groups on how they can make use of this aloe to gain income.
KCIC gave us a mentor to see us through. How do we work with the communities? How do we market our products? How do we take care of the natural resources? And also the exposure out there so that people are getting aware of what they need to do.
Machakos County is one of the driest regions in Kenya. So like in this region, the rainfall is below 500 millimeters annually. I run a startup called Maji Agri Solutions Limited, which helps farmers to shift from rain-fed agriculture to irrigation. I've been receiving support from KCIC for the last 2 years. It's been very helpful, basically because as a startup, there are so many challenges that one goes through.
And one big support or help that KCIC has helped me to overcome is to run the business and to scale it and to market my product.
The fourth thing that we do provide is what I call access to facilities. I mean, the space at Kenya Climate Innovation Center, the makeup spaces that we have collaborated with others for the purposes of providing workshopping space, storage spaces, is also important for those enterprises. And finally, and very creative, is that we provide financing. And the financing that we provide is from proof of concept, where we have up to a maximum of $50,000, which we give as a grant.
We recycle agricultural and industrial wastes. We sun dry. We bring to the factory. We compress under what we call ram and piston technology into hard 3D duplicates. They are economical. They are smokeless. They have high caloric value than the normal firewood that we use, and it's clean energy. Initially, KCIC gave me the initial trainings. The trainings included financial management, human resource, and a program which was called mentorship and the acceleration program. Originally, I used to sun dry my raw materials. It reached a point where I needed to increase my capacity. One of the machineries that I required was a dryer. I approached KCIC, I gave them my problem. They came and saw the need that would drive the company ahead, which was a dryer.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this webinar today on children and climate change. Thank you for taking your time to join us this afternoon, and we're so excited for the discussions that we're going to have. So I'll just share a few housekeeping rules. If you may have any question, please put it in the chat or in the Q&A section. Kindly stay muted and also switch off your video during the whole session. I'm also going to just share a brief of how the program is going to be. We're going to have a presentation by our speaker, Edward Mungai, and then after that, we're going to have a Q&A from our moderator, Kiota School, and then after Kiota School does his session, we're going to open it up to any questions that you may have, but please post them as we go so that we can share with Edward after that. And so, yeah, I'm going to introduce our moderator for today as well as the speaker. I'm going to start with Daniels Ikua. Kiota Ikua is one of our little Einsteins. He's 10 years old and he goes to Kiota School. He's also a STEM advocate concentrating on climate change. He has done a project actually exploring how climate change has been affecting the biomes in the tundra region. Yeah, and he's a bright young man. He has a passion for science and leadership and a more deeper passion for how the world and the greater universe affect how we live. And then we have our speaker, Edward Mungai. We've just seen him in the video that has just run. Edward is the CEO of KCIC, which is the Kenya Climate Innovation Center. He leads the team across different focus areas and crafts unconventional strategies and drives innovation and entrepreneurship, focusing on sustainable businesses and, of course, addressing climate change. Yes, so Edward, without further ado and taking so much of your time, I would like to welcome you to just do your presentation. Karibu sana.
Thank you, Wamboi, and thank you, Little Einstein team, and good afternoon, everybody. I hope you can be able to hear me very well, and I will also ask the Little Einstein team to share my presentation because I have a couple of slides that I just needed to share with you guys, really to tell you about climate change and what is it that as children, as Little Einstein, as young people, what is it we can be able to do in regards to climate change? Well, it could be that we do it personally, meaning Aris, Arnold, Emma, Jaden and Chantel, John. You could do something, you know, but it's also more importantly that you can also speak to your parents so that they can do something about it. This is all what it means, and I'm going to take you through what are the challenges we are going to face, because indeed, there are many, many challenges that we are going to face. For instance, just imagine planet Earth being gone. And you know, this is where we are trending because of climate change. We know now there is COVID-19, And I know the challenges COVID-19 is bringing about, but indeed, climate change is probably even a bigger challenge. The only difference between COVID and climate change is that climate change takes many, many years for it to be able to take effect. COVID-19, it hits you in 14 days, things are done, right? So today I call you cool kids, and please allow me to call you that because we want to save the hot planet. As I'm saying, our planet is hot because it's warming up. And what is climate change, you know? Maybe that's a good question. It's when the temperatures are rising, when we have seen seasons changing, when the crops that your grandparents used to plant are no longer being used, you know? And those are the challenges. Look at this picture that I have in front of you. You know, changing rain and snow patterns. Well, for us is more the rain. And as I was saying there before, our grandfathers and our grandmothers used to plant at a certain time. The truth of the matter is that they cannot be able to do that now. I mean, we are in August. We were supposed to have some rains in July, August, and a little bit of September. But because of climate change, we cannot find those rains. Well, there is also about the rising sea levels, you know. And what does this mean? That Mombasa, if we don't do something, will be submerged in water. So those in Voi, where Voi is, if you know where Voi is, that is where, that Voi will be our Mombasa today because Mombasa will be all underwater. And indeed, fish is also being challenged because our oceans are warming. And all these, look at Mount Kenya. The snow which is on top of Mount Kenya is getting off. Why is it getting off? Is because we are doing funny things. And I say funny things because we are traveling too much by aeroplanes, which emit a lot of carbon. We are wasting a lot of food, which again emits a lot of carbon. We are also doing things which we should not be doing, and yet we want to safeguard our planet. And you know, when you go home, remind your parents that this world that we live in is a borrowed world. We have actually borrowed it from future generations, and you guys are the future generations. Now, the truth of the matter is that if we as parents and you, we don't do something about it, clearly, we will make you guys to inherit a planet which is not good. We should leave it as it were, the way we found it, or we make it better. And this is why little Einstein is bringing us this very good topic about climate change. Because collectively and individually and together with our parents, we can be able to do simple things, which then will make us to address the issues of climate change. For those of you who are even more driven, you know, that's why Kenya Climate Innovation Center, our organization exists, is because then we want to help you to come up with ideas that can be able to change the way we do things. And what are these ideas? It's about us not driving too much, you know. In many homes, you'll find there's 2, 3, 4 cars, you know. Why do we need all those? And they are all burning what we call fossil fuels. And what are fossil fuels? Is diesel, is petrol. Now, when you put that into an engine, it emits particles, it emits carbon, and that carbon is what messes our environment. So how can we reduce that? Is by using things like bicycles, you know, is walking, taking a walk where if you are not supposed to, I mean, if somewhere you cannot drive, you can take a walk. It's also about, guys, you thinking about taking a shower with cold water. You know, I know this is interesting, but I'm encouraging you because to warm the water, you need energy. That energy most likely is produced in a very unclean way, meaning it is polluting our environment. So friends, let's see if in a week you can start by having 2 cold showers, and then as time moves by, then we can change. It's also about planting trees. You know, how many of you have planted trees? We should be planting trees, and many of them for that matter. It is you and also asking your parents to see whether they can plant some trees. We must also choose sustainable food. What is sustainable food? You know, you just have lunch. How many, I know some of you didn't finish their lunch. Well, the truth of the matter, if you didn't finish, you are polluting the environment. So serve not too much food, which then you can be able to use and consume. Otherwise, then it becomes a challenge. Then we must be able to reduce the things we are using, you know. I know that we like these gummy worms, you know. If you eat so many gummy worms, reduce it by half, you know, because that is good for the environment. If you are eating too many sweets, again, I'm saying reduce them. You know, it's about reducing the things that you use. And if it's at home, I was saying, let our parents also reduce the drives they are making. Let our parents reduce the writing that we're having in our houses, meaning that if nobody is in a room, let's switch off the lights. It's also about reusing. Consider reusing things, you know, like let us forget about plastic bottles. For those people who are drinking water in plastic bottles, either use, and plastic cups, by the way, use little glasses, you know. You also go ahead and get containers, which then you can be able to reuse. It's also about recycling. Instead of throwing things, you can recycle them. You know, I give a good example. It's even our clothes. Let's hand them down to other people, you know. Instead of throwing the clothes which becomes smaller or which can't fit you, let's give them to other people. And that way, then we can be able to save our planet. It's also about shopping wisely. And what does that mean? You know, you also look at how a product has been made. See if that product is made taking care of the environment, you know. This is all that we need to do, guys. And also, two more things that you need to do. Now that I'm teaching you and you have been taught about these climate issues, I think it will also be cool for you to teach others. Your friends who are not here, tell them climate change is a challenge. Tell them climate change is and also, if you can't be able to volunteer, where you can be able to work on climate change, it will be cool. And you know what, kids? Yes, we can. We can be able to save our planet, and we can be able to teach other people that we should save our planet, because we are called for this. And it doesn't take rocket science. I know we are talking about little Einstein. My son, Jaden, who is 4, normally tells me little Einstein is about experiments, you know. So I'm calling you guys, kids, go out and experiment. Come up with ideas that would help us to address climate change, because we also need to see action. And more importantly, also push your grandparents, push your aunties, push your uncles, push your dad, your moms, to start becoming more sustainable. More sustainable means they are using less, they are recycling, and they are reusing, you know. And also, where possible, in our homes, let's use solar, you know. Like if you are showering this evening, when you discuss with your parents, ask them, do we have a water solar heating system? How is our water for showering heated? Is it by electricity or is it by solar? And if it is not by solar, then you start challenging them and you tell them we need a solar system that will help us to heat the water, because otherwise the planet will be gone. And if the planet is gone, my friends, as I was telling you, we have borrowed it from future generations. You are the ones to suffer, because you will not have a planet where you can live. As I was saying, we'll see animals get into extinction. We will see new crops which probably will not be as good as what we enjoyed. And also, you cannot be able to do too many things, because you'll be sweating too much. It will be too hot. So friends, there are many things that you can be able to do. And my call today is that, yes, kids, we can be able to work on climate change. And I hope that you'll be spending some time during this little Einstein whole week, because there will be brilliant ideas that will be showcased, ideas that require support. Some of the guys will become hopefully very rich from implementing their ideas, because you know what? What I represent is climate ideas translated into businesses for people to make money. So you could actually be solving a problem, but on the other hand, you're actually making money and making an impact. And what a good position to be in. I know Peter Ikua wants to be a YouTuber. He can't be YouTubing about climate change. Oh, he's now refusing. He doesn't want to be a YouTuber. But anyway, Peter will talk about that. So guys, I really, really want you to help us to mitigate climate change and to solve this issue of climate change. And I hope that I will be able to be of help to you as we embark this journey. Remember, kids, we can indeed and we can solve this challenge. Thank you. Wambui.
Thank you so much, Edward. That was very enlightening. And I think it was fun for me. I hope the kids have also had fun just listening to you. And so I'm going to introduce Peter. I'm going to welcome Peter to ask you some of the questions that he collected from his friends. So Peter.
Hello everyone, my name is Kiota Ikua from Kiota School. I will be leading this Q&A session. If you have a question, please type it in the chat section and Ms. Wambui will note it down. Edward, thank you so much for your presentation. I would like to know, has KICC looked at assisting kids like the ones that will be presented at the science fair?
Thank you very much, Peter, for that brilliant question. Yes, indeed, this is why we are supporting Little Einstein Science Fair. The reason is that we expect that we'll have we have some very good ideas coming from kids, and our idea is to help those ideas to make one more step. Remember, these kids have just ideas. Maybe they have tried a little bit of those ideas and to see how it looks like. But for it to go to market, remember I told you guys, the idea is to take this to the market and hopefully it can become big. And once it becomes big, it can solve the challenge. So our hope is that we'll be able to find some kids with very good ideas that can actually be supported to see them through, to make it a little bit better and probably to put into the market. And hopefully they make a little bit of money as they help us to solve climate change.
Thank you, Edward. That some subjects in school should be more focused on climate change?
Yeah, Peter, that's a good question in the sense that the things that, and actually I can see there is somebody who did actually ask a question. I think this is, what is it? Well, I saw some question there which was there about whether global warming is hitting, you know. The reason for where I'm getting these questions is because environment, climate change is not taught in school. And yet we are saying this is a huge challenge for the continent, for the world. So therefore, if it's a big challenge, I think it will be good that in schools, we can introduce a subject called environment. You know, actually in some of these schools, like in Britain, in Denmark, in Sweden, Finland, Norway, they actually teach climate change or environment in schools. So I'm looking forward, and actually this is a journey which I've also started in Kenya, where we can be able to have kids studying climate change and environment within schools. And this will definitely be very useful because then we can impact that knowledge. They can see ideas how they can be able to deal with climate change, and hopefully we will all together solve this menace which is facing our world.
Thank you, Edward. I hope we can use this subject for climate change. Why did you get interested in climate change? Was it for the money or was it for helping?
Interesting. I've been talking about money, Peter. Now you're asking about money. Well, the truth of the matter is that I didn't get this job because of money. Indeed, I was starting up this organization when, and it was very risky because I had a good job before. But then I thought that we needed to solve a problem in our country. So, and I found myself to be like a champion, somebody who can be able to push that through and hopefully make a difference. So it's not about for the money, it was about making a change. And you know what, guys, if you start out something, Jaden, Gerani, Aris, Arnold, if you start trying to do something for the money, most likely it doesn't succeed. So the best way to start is that, can I solve a problem? Now, we do have climate change as a problem. Can I be able to solve it? And if I solve it, can I actually be able at a later date to make some money? And this is how it happens. And therefore you'll have the passion, you'll have the drive to push it. So let's think about the problems that people are facing. Let's try to solve them. And as we solve them, I can promise you, money will come. So Peter, it wasn't for the money, it was for changing our country and even helping like these young kids, you know? That's why I did it.
That's good. Now let's answer some questions from the chat.
Thank you so much, Peter. Edward, there are a few questions here for you. I'm going to start with Keldenish's. Keldenish asks, hi, Mr. Edward, how do you support us kids with ideas we have on climate change?
Okay, now, let me put it the way KCIC helps people. So if you have an idea and you are just thinking about it, what we will do, we'll give you some money and we will use that money together with you to try and pilot that idea. What do I mean? We will help you to put, imagine, I'm trying to get an example. Imagine you tell us you can be able to have a gadget which will be helping kids to make sure that they are showering without wasting energy. But that's a thought. So we will listen to you and we'll say, okay, we give you $1 million shillings. We work with you. We try to make this gadget and test it to see actually whether kids will like it. Now, if kids like it, the next thing we'll do is that you want to make 100 of them. So you need more money. So we will help you to get this more money, and then you make these gadgets which will help the kids. But remember also, we are considering you are a kid, you know, you are maybe 12 years or 10 years, and you don't have the business skills. We will give you the business skills. We'll teach you how to keep your finances, how to manage your money, how to get customers. We'll also put your effort into the YouTube and to social media so that you can get customers. At the same time, we'll attach somebody to you who then will hold your hand and work with you to make a good business, which will make a difference, but also make money for you. So that's how we help kids. So I'm looking for these brilliant ideas, especially from the Science Fair, and with Rolito Einstein, and we partner and we see how far we can be able to take this forward.
Thank you so much, Edward. So I am understanding that basically they shouldn't be shy. If they have an idea, they can come and pitch to KCIC, right?
Correct, together with Rolito Einstein, because then that is the platform that we'll be using to help kids.
Yes. Yeah, so great. Yeah, so guys, if you have any idea, don't be shy. Approach us and you can see how we can work together with KCIC. Edward, there are also 2 questions from McKenna, very serious ones. One, she asked, has KCIC helped build up youth initiatives projects already? And question 2, which I understand because she's a climate activist, she asked, KCIC helps build up eco-friendly initiatives, but does it vote for advocacy of environmental related issues to create a big impact in Kenya as a whole?
Well, that's a loaded question, I can tell you. McKenna Muigai, well done. If you are an advocate of climate change, you know, and well, an evangelist, if I call it. So the second part is very easy for me. I mean, advocacy is one of the areas that we work in, especially for enabling environment. And I'm happy. We normally don't support people who are doing advocacy by itself, but we support people in businesses who want advocacy done within a certain concept. But McKenna, I'm more than happy to work with you and to help you to become an advocate of environment-related issues in our country. Now, the first question is you're asking about the eco-friendly initiatives. Yes, we do try as part of a bigger ecosystem to, and that's why probably we are also involved here in Little Einstein. We are looking for like-minded people, we pull them together and we champion things. So indeed, this is something that we help to build. But more importantly, I'm happy, more than happy, McKenna, together, of course, with Little Einstein, to have or to make your dream come true by making big impact in Kenya as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you, Edward. There's an anonymous attendee who asks, why don't they teach it in science? I think as Little Einsteins, we have tried on our own. So we've put a lot of initiatives where we teach kids about environment and just about the climate change that is happening. But Edward, in your opinion, why do you think climate change has not been incorporated into the curriculum?
Well, I think it's an issue that things takes time, and the sensitization also, we are getting there. We haven't been there before. I think the whole idea is that we have more voices, the likes of McKenna, Mungai, Little Einstein, KCIC joining hands and pushing this agenda. And the moment the noise is too big, we cannot be ignored. Unfortunately, I don't think the noise has been too big to be heard by all the parties. And therefore, then I really challenge ourselves here and also all these 35 kids that we join hands and we raise our voices. And soon, this will be part of the curriculum. And you know what, Guy? I think it will be easy. This will be some easy A's because this is something we want to do. We want to make a change and we can be able to do it.
Yeah, another question is, I believe this is from Petra Ayal. I can see her mom's name on the chat. She asks, what should I do if my friends are not listening to what I say about the 3 R's? And I think related to that is another question. How should children deal with the discrimination of being young when they have a brilliant idea?
Oh, being young should not stop us. Let's fight for our dreams. Let's speak with big voices. Let's not shy. I tell people never shy, because if you get shy, you will not achieve it. My call to you, please, even if they don't listen to you, keep on telling them, keep on repeating it. One time they realize what you're talking about. It's also about how we position it, and the way you tell it. Tell it from the perspective of the challenges. I told you we are living in a borrowed world. We must make it better, or if at least leave it the way it is. So show them the challenges, show them the problems that you are going to face. I told you COVID-19 is nothing compared to climate change. So keep on telling them, even if they don't listen to you, keep on bumping into them. Draw those vision boards, draw those pictures, draw those illustrations showing how it is going to happen. And I tell you, at the end, they will listen to you. They will definitely listen to you.
Yeah, thank you, Edward. Oh, there's another question from Mama Keldenish, that is Flosia. And she says, I'm a parent and I'd like to know, how do we advocate for climate change and the ecosystems to school? What programs have we shared with the schools to enroll?
Well, that's a good question. Well, and it's interesting, we are finding that this is now coming up where we are being asked, what is it that you are doing with school? Well, as Kenya Climate Innovation Center, this is our second project where we are hoping we can work with Little Einstein to push this gospel into the schools. Of course, we have also been involving ourselves, not necessarily in the primary schools, and prep schools and kindergartens. We have involved ourselves more with the secondary schools. Initially, we thought that's why it was being understood. But actually, when you look at the ideas that are within Little Einstein, you'll see how brilliant those ideas are. So because of that, we kind of a little bit focused on high schools, and we are working with the environmental clubs to push this. We've also had a conversation and detailed conversation with KICID, that's the curriculum development organization, to try and see whether we can have a curriculum, not necessarily as a co-curriculum, but as a supplementary curriculum for environmental issues within schools. So it is still work in progress. And we, again, as I was saying, we are looking for partnerships. We are looking for like-minded people that we can be able to push this agenda together, and hopefully in a couple of years we can be able to win, because it takes also time, it takes time. But in a couple of years, we can be able to win.
Thank you, Edward. I think from what I've gotten from your presentation and even from you answering the questions, it's just encouraging that we work together, that this is something that cannot be achieved by one person. It can definitely start with one person, but I think even from what we've seen from the attendees, we are all rallying at different points. So if we can come together and rally those around us, to learn about climate change and to make different changes, then that will be great.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flosia, also in relation to your question, there's also a program that's coming up in collaboration with UNESCO, where they're already programs that they already have online, where kids can learn about climate change, and they're also trying to roll it out so that it can reach the schools. So I think even as we work together, even as Edward has a visitor at the back, but yes, so Yeah, so between
she's
Little
telling me
Einsteins
she
and
can't. She's telling me she can't be able to join. It's okay, Lexi.
sorry, Lexi. But yes, so yeah, so Little Einsteins and UNESCO are working on coming up with a program so that we can also roll it out to schools and the children can be engaged in that. I don't know whether Peter had any additional questions from his end.
I do.
Okay, go ahead, Peter.
Thank you so much, Edward. My last question will be, what is your advice to parents on how they can encourage their children to think creatively about sustainable enterprises?
Yeah, I think it's just letting them be, you know. That's what I would say. Parents should let you guys be, should support you if you have ideas that you want to implement, and let them buy you whatever it is or take you to whatever school or whatever online course. Because by the way, there are many online courses for kids about climate change and about innovation. Because Peter, I should have mentioned, is also about innovation. You kids and people of your generations, you are very gifted in the sense that you can be able to come up with ideas which you have never thought about, including your parents have never thought about. And because you are so tech savvy, you can go into YouTube, you can go to Google, you can be able to search for innovations. I think as parents, what we should do, first of all, is to allow our kids to be and let them research, let them come with ideas. And when they tell us about those ideas, let's not dismiss them. Because I know many of the ideas, Peter, that you guys have got, sometimes are dismissed by us. Because, you know, we think, I mean, 7-year-old, 10-year-old, what are you telling me, you know? But you guys continue researching, continue putting things into perspective. And you know what? You will be able to bring in up an idea which probably will save the world. That is true. Well, the second thing that I think is important that we should do is that to grow many people with interest in environmental issues. As parents, let's see how we can encourage our kids to make sure that they finish their food, make sure they are having these cold showers, making sure that they are handing over their clothes to their friends, making sure that we are using our books in the right way, because books comes from paper, or books are made of paper. Paper comes from trees. We have to cut many trees so that we can make your books. So if you are using your books in the right way, then it helps. So parents, we must be able to sensitize our kids also about climate change. And finally, I think is also to let our kids also be part of infrastructures or ecosystem like Little Einstein, where they can be able to be and they can be able to push their ideas to the next level. So those are the three things, Peter, that I would say that parents should do. And as I was calling to action, kids, think about innovation, see how you can come up with brilliant ideas and how you can be able to think outside the box. Normally we think inside the box ourselves as parents. Think outside the box, come up with ideas that then can be able to help us.
Thank you, Edward, for answering all my questions and your presentation.
Peter, from your end, do you have any advice for your friends? Because there are a lot of kids here. Do you have any advice regarding climate change?
Sleep with your lights off. That helps us reduce the amount of energy used in the house.
Take cold showers.
Let's take cold showers, but not every day. You can take it. If your school is really far, ride your bike to school if it's close, or walk to school. And yes, that's all I have.
Yeah, I think I can also, Wamboy, I think Miss Wamboy, I think I can also add in regards to that and kind of repeating again. When you get your food, please finish it, because that is called food waste. And food waste is a big challenge. When your parents want to drive, sometimes encourage them to use one car. I know sometimes we use 2 cars. Also, ask your parents, if possible, They can switch the kind of power they are using at home to solar. If possible also, let them stop using charcoal. Let them use probably briquettes and some energy efficient or cook stoves which are using energy in a better way. Yeah, and when you go to your grandmother, by the way, and your grandfather, if they have cows, ask them to have something called biogas, where they harvest the gas from the waste of the cows, and they can be able to use it to cook. And also ask your parents that we should be using organic food, you know, not processed food. All these will help us to safeguard our planet. Thank you.
I think, Edward, you've brought out a very interesting point in the last point that you've said. Like, what do you think the kids will relate to? So what is organic food and what is processed food, so that they, when they're actually guiding their parents, and they're also able to identify that we know that when they're buying something to eat, they're actually contributing to reducing climate change.
Okay, good example. And I can tell you kids, I have a big problem at home here. Lexi, that you saw at the back there, like something called Indomeal. You know, Indomeal is a processed food. Instead of Indomeal, why can't we eat doma and gouache? How does that sound, guys? Peter, thumbs up. Thumbs down. No, these are the kind of foods doma is a sustainable food. Githeri is probably a good food. You know, let's avoid processed food. And you know, they also say that if you really care about environment, then you should be a vegetarian. You know, reduce the amount of meat that we are consuming. Yeah. So Wamboi, these are some of the things that the food, in terms of choosing the food. Also make sure that when you are getting some food, see how that food is made. Like for instance, oats is a good thing, it's very healthy, and it's very sustainable. It doesn't mess our environment, you know? Yeah.
Thank you, Edward. I think everything is a step-by-step process. So kids, don't be scared. You know, everything we take little steps, and like Edward has said, you can reduce on the processed foods and eat more organic foods until now we end up now eating purely organic foods. Edward, there's a very interesting question here for you, and
yeah.
They ask, what will the next crisis be after global warming?
Well, oops, I don't know whether I can be able to predict, but you know what? If we don't take care of global warming, we will not be there to see the next crisis. So it is as simple as that. So as far as I'm concerned, global warming is the biggest crisis, because if we don't manage it, those other crises will not see them because we'll be dead. So that's why I'm saying each one of us have a responsibility. And I see kids being on the front line as part of those people who are helping us to make sure that we manage our environment. And therefore, we avoid global warming. And if we avoid global warming, the rest of the challenges we'll be able to deal with them. Like this one called COVID-19, we will also be able to solve it, you know, very soon. So I think let's work together and try to avoid global warming.
Can see some great contributions from Kelden Ishia. He says, how can we help with climate change? One, we should stop throwing litter on the road and walkways. I support that. We should save energy in the ways that Edward has said. You know, if you're not in a room, don't have the lights on. If you can, use solar energy. And finally, he says, stop throwing sewage into the sea, rivers, and lakes.
Good stuff. Those are some of the things that we can be able to do to avoid global warming and to make our environment safer, you know?
So yes, I don't think there are any other questions. Edward, I don't know if there's anything you want to add.
Yeah, mine is just to say that kids, we have an opportunity. An opportunity because we are tech savvy, we know how to get things done, and we can be able to be better than our parents, especially when it comes to managing issues of climate change. So my encouragement, it's a good step that today you are here. And when you go home, or rather you are at home, when we finish this, just start thinking about what is it that I can do. And you know what? You never know. Maybe this is what will make you who you will be when you grow up. So let's think about how we can solve this crisis as a career, as something that we can contribute to save other people. You know, I normally tell people that we must make a difference in our lives. I make it as simple as this. All you kids, when you are born, yeah, and go ask your moms, when you are born, you cried. Truly, you cried. Whereas your mom and all those who are around you, they all smiled and they were extremely happy. Now, you know what, guys? This is what I want. When you die, maybe when you are 90 or 100, you will smile and the rest of the people will cry. Why will they cry? Because of the difference that you will have made in this world. Meaning you will have changed our world. And how do you change our world? Is, for instance, engaging with climate change and trying to solve the problem of climate change. And that's how you will be the next Wangari Maathai. Remember, Wangari Maathai was from Kenya? And you know what story she tells? I'm going to repeat that story for those who don't know. It's the story of the hummingbird. There was this small bird which was, there was a big, huge forest which was burning, you know. And then there was a small bird which was trying to get to the river with, take little water, bring to the forest, try to quench the fire, and trying many times. And then a big elephant asked this small bird, what are you doing? And he said, you know, if all of us were to do small thing, it would make a difference. So guys, what am I asking? Your small effort can be able to kill this disaster of climate change. So it doesn't matter how big it is, it doesn't matter how small it is. Please, let's work together and we can be able to make a difference, guys. Cool kids making our planet better. We can do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Edward. In Obama's words, yes, we can. Yeah, as cool kids, we can definitely make a change. We can start with the small things and they're going to grow into bigger impacts. Panav wanted to say something. I'll see whether the Little Einsteins team can unmute him. But in the meantime, yeah, there's something that Edward spoke about. You know, you can make this a career. You can make your passion in climate change a career, which is also something that we'll be talking about on Wednesday. So yeah, please join in on Wednesday at the same time, 2 to 3. We'll have Nuru Mugambi being moderated by Lily Nkatha, and Lily will be asking questions on, you know, how, yeah, that's the poster there. Lily will be asking the questions on how, as children, how can we change, you know, our passion into profits so that we are able to make money. I think, yeah, like Edward has said, you can make your passion into something that you can gain from. John was asking, what was the story about again? John, you can clarify on the story. Panav, we are not able to unmute you. If you could please type into the chat and I am going to read it out. Just waiting for John to clarify.
For John, if you really want to know this story, my suggestion is that you go to Google and you check Wangari Maathai. And you will be able to read many things that she did. She's a Kenyan who decided to change her life and to change the world. And people recognized it. Today we have Karura Forest because of Wangari Maathai, just as an example. So there is actually a lot of many things that you can find on the internet about Wangari Maathai, and it should be an inspiration. It should be an inspiration that our small thoughts, our small deeds, our small things can actually be able to make a difference. So John and the rest of the kids, cool kids, I want to ask you guys, please go into the internet and look for Wangari Maathai, and you'll find an amazing Kenyan story about climate change.
Thank you so much, Edward. Yeah, kids, please go and find out about Wangari. Wangari was and still is an icon on matters relating to climate change. She did a lot of things, a lot of good things that we still identify today. I don't know that there are any questions. If you have a question, please type it in the Q&A. If you have a question that you need us to follow up with after this, also you may call us. You may call us on our line, that's 0729 715 622. Someone from the Little Einsteins team will also type that down. And you can also write us an email if you'd like to connect, and if your kids have any ideas. If you guys have any ideas, just email us. I know a lot of us now have our own email addresses because of our online classes. So email us on littleeinsteinske@gmail.com. So yeah, you can see there in the chat. Please guys go and share this word out. For our parents who have social media accounts, please you may use the hashtags that are there. But we are honestly extremely grateful that you've joined us for this session. I realize I didn't introduce myself. My name is Wamboi Moremi, popularly known to the kids as Miss Wamboi or Shosho Science. Shosho Science is also very passionate about climate, and Peter, you're laughing at me. Yeah, Shosho Science is very passionate about climate change. She's even written a book about it that we'll be discussing tomorrow with McKenna called A Rainy Sunset. So please check it out. But yes, join us on Wednesday, that will be the 5th of August from 2 to 3 p.m. discussing about STEM as a career, turning passion into profit. Edward, again, asante sana. We really, really appreciate it. Peter, thank you so, so much for your questions. Thank you for rallying your friends to give you all the questions. And for everyone also who's participated, we really appreciate. You're welcome. We really appreciate you. I'd even seen our youngest Little Einsteins member. I don't know whether she's still here, Munyudha, who's 2 years old. So they're starting when they're very young. So I know there's some of us who are 13, some who are 17, but if someone like Munyudha is already starting, then all of us can start. Thank you so much, guys. And we're going to see you on Wednesday.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. And make sure you teach your parents a couple of things you've learned this afternoon. That will also be part of championing this idea. Thank you and have a good afternoon. And thank you, Little Einstein, for having me.
Anytime, Edward. Anytime.
And thanks, Peter. Thanks, Peter, for asking me tough questions.
Okay. So bye, guys. See you on Wednesday.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Which scientists are you?
Crazy scientists.
Which project are you taking?
Elephant toothpaste.
We also teach in the lab after school hours and on weekends. We do holiday camps, which a number of these kids have come to. And of course, we also do special events.
My name is Dr. Wala Makobe. I'm here not as a doctor, but as a mother, as a passionate scientist, as someone who loves people who are creative. And I think for the children, what we're looking for is mostly creativity, and that they understand that what the projects are. We know that the parents or the teachers Thank you so much, parents and the teachers who put in a lot of work. It was quite a task sifting through all the projects to determine who are going with the prizes. But I think the message that we're passing is that we are all winners. And I think creativity and science is a very good thing that we need to nurture in our children. Thank you very much.
It's great to see kids playing with such experiments, because I believe that that's how we're going to get a lot of people into technology and science moving forward. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity, Gura, and I believe that all of them are winners so far as they were able to come here today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We start with the team that had the best teamwork. So these are the children who showed everyone was participating equally. We didn't have others being pushed. And the award goes to the quad team. Congratulations.
It goes to Hillcrest again. And it's the power on wheels.
Hi little Einsteins, how are you? Hope you're having fun and you're going to have a great time at the science camp today. My name is Wanjiran Jandu. I am a creative consultant for Little Einsteins East Africa Science Camp, but I'm also the executive producer and the director of the STEM adventures of Kabi and Sasha. I hope you've been watching on YouTube and it's been so much fun making these for you. The reason I wanted to partake in Little Einsteins and to be part of this was just the creativity that comes with the idea behind it, that science can be fun, it can be colorful, it can be fun, and I wish I had this growing up. I love every episode I worked on. I love the creativeness behind every experiment, and just being able to cut everything and put it all together for you was such a pleasure. Have fun at the science camp and enjoy being a little Einstein.
Little Einsteins East Africa brings you a digital science fair, STEM solutions for a better world, featuring 25 teams, 140 children, and 7 premier judges, the amazing Little Einsteins Explorer trainers, and a few surprises. August 3rd to August 7th on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Children innovating for climate resilience and responsiveness.
Which scientists are you?
Crazy scientists.
Which project are you taking?
Elephant toothpaste.
several ways. We teach in schools. We have actually 12 of the schools we're in here right now. Kiota School, Lavington Montessori Kindergarten. We also teach in the lab after school hours and on weekends. We do holiday camps, which a number of these kids have come to. And of course, we also do special events.
My name is Dr. Wala Makobe. I'm here not as a doctor, but as a mother, as a passionate scientist, as someone who loves people who are creative. And I think for the children, what we're looking for is mostly creativity, and that they understand that what the projects are. We know that the parents or their teachers helped, but we want to know whether they really conceptualize the projects from the beginning to the end. Thank you so much, parents and the teachers who put in a lot of work. It was quite a task sifting through all the projects to determine who are going with the prizes. But I think the message that we're passing is that we are all winners. And I think creativity and science is a very good thing that we need to nurture in our children. Thank you very much.
It's great to see kids playing with such experiments, because I believe that that's how we're going to get a lot of people into technology and science moving forward. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity, and I believe that all of them are winners so far as they were able to come here today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chris.
We start with the team that had the best teamwork. So these are the children who showed everyone was participating equally. We didn't have others being pushed. And the award goes to the quad team. Congratulations.
It goes to Hillcrest again. And it's the power on wheels.
Hi little Einsteins, how are you? Hope you're having fun and you're going to have a great time at the science camp today. My name is Wanjiron Jandu. I am a creative consultant for Little Einsteins East Africa Science Camp, but I'm also the executive producer and the director of the STEM Adventures of Kabi and Sasha. I hope you've been watching on YouTube and it's been so much fun making these for you. The reason I wanted to partake in Little Einsteins and to be part of this was just the creativity that comes with the idea behind it. That science can be fun, it can be colorful, it can be fun, and I wish I had this growing up. I love every episode I worked on. I love the creativeness behind every experiment, and just being able to cut everything and put it all together for you was such a pleasure. Have fun at the science camp and enjoy being a Little Einstein.
Wow.
Little Einsteins East Africa brings you a digital science fair, STEM solutions for a better world, featuring 25 teams, 140 children, and 7 premier judges, the amazing Little Einsteins Explorer trainers, and a few surprises. August 3rd to August 7th on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Children innovating for climate